The story of the Pinkertons begins in 1850, when Alan Pinkerton, a Scottish immigrant and barrel maker, founded the Pinkerton National Detective Agency in Chicago. His agency quickly gained fame for tracking down counterfeiters, train robbers, and stagecoach bandits at a time when law enforcement in America was still young and often underfunded. Their reputation soared in 1861, when Pinkerton agents claimed to have uncovered a plot to assassinate President-elect Abraham Lincoln as he traveled to his inauguration. Lincoln was smuggled safely into Washington, and the agency became synonymous with vigilance. Their trademark logo, a single unblinking eye above the words, "We never sleep," gave rise to the term private eye. As America's railroads, factories, and steel mills grew, so too did the needs of the wealthy industrialists who owned them. By the late 1800s, the Pinkertons were no longer just detectives. They had become a private army for hire. Corporations paid them to guard property, protect shipments, and, most controversially, to keep workers in line. Pinkerton men infiltrated unions to gather intelligence and report on brewing strikes. And when workers walked out, the Pinkertons were there to break the strikes, sometimes with clubs, sometimes with guns. This shift in mission transformed the Pinkertons into one of the most feared forces in the country. By the 1890s, the agency boasted more operatives than the standing U.S. Army. To many Americans, they represented the long arm of corporate power, enforcing the will of industrial giants against their own employees. The most infamous example came during the Homestead Strike of 1892 in western Pennsylvania. Andrew Carnegie's steel company faced off against thousands of locked-out workers. When negotiations collapsed, management turned to the Pinkertons. In the dead of night, barges carrying 300 armed agents floated up the Monongahela River to seize the mill. But the workers were waiting. A bloody gun battle erupted on the shore. By the time it ended, at least 10 people were dead and dozens wounded. The defeated Pinkertons surrendered, but only after being beaten and humiliated by the angry crowd. The Homestead Strike became a symbol of class warfare in America and cemented the Pinkertons' reputation as mercenaries for the rich. Public outrage grew so fierce that in 1893, Congress passed the Anti-Pinkerton Act, prohibiting the federal government from hiring them. Still, the agency continued to be employed by railroads, banks, and industrialists, chasing outlaws like Jesse James and Butch Cassidy, while simultaneously crushing labor unrest across the nation. By the 20th century, the Pinkertons shifted toward private security, investigations, and protection services. Today, the Pinkerton name survives as a global security firm, but its history casts a long shadow. For workers and unionists, the Pinkertons symbolize the darker side of industrial capitalism, an era when private armies could be deployed against ordinary citizens, and when profit was defended with violence. The rise of the Pinkertons tells us more than just the story of one agency. It's the story of America's growing pains, of industry versus labor, of private power outpacing public authority, and of the struggles that shape the rights we often take for granted today.